Is this my best guitar? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bald Shredder channel. So today we're having a look and having a little chat about my PRS CE 24 guitar. Now this is by far my most expensive guitar out of quite a large guitar collection. So what I want to discuss is like the question of, is my most expensive guitar just like automatically my best guitar because it's the most expensive? It should be my best guitar, right? But it's not. Now that doesn't mean that this is a bad guitar or that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. Very well made, beautiful, sounds good, plays good, but that doesn't mean that it's the ideal or perfect guitar for me. I do love the fact that it has 2 humbuckers, 24 frets, that it's a bolt-on neck and it's got like a satin finish on the back of the neck. It's not painted. I love those features. Doesn't have a Floyd Rose. It's got a nice like kind of vintage style trim. This is a PRS bridge, by the way. Very smooth, very responsive, stays in tune very well. I like all those facts. Now before I get into those details about why this is not my best or my favorite guitar, let me just say, you know, I'm very glad that everybody out there in the world doesn't like the same thing. That we all like different things. For some people, an old vintage Les Paul, that's all they need, that's the perfect guitar. They don't want to play anything else. For other people, it could be a Strat, a modern Strat. Other people want to play some like extreme Jackson guitar or whatever, a Telecaster. And then in some cases, it's a double cut PRS guitar. And I'm very glad that's the case, because if everybody only liked one style of guitar and there was only one kind of electric guitar out there and we all played it, the world would be a very boring place. So even though I might not love those other styles of guitars as much as I like my, current favorite specs, whatever, I like to see those guitars out there. I like looking at pictures. I like looking at a Les Paul. They're beautiful. I like to, see the vintage designs and the transparent paint jobs and all that stuff. But I wouldn't necessarily want to play one all the time. Same thing with various Strats, Teles, whatever. I mean, this is beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely stunning looking guitar, but it's not what I would necessarily want to play all the time. And I know for a lot of you guys out there, man, PRS, that's it for you. That's the top of the line. You love that brand, you love their guitars. Maybe you have a PRS and that's the best of the best for you. And that's awesome. So to start off on this one, guys, the body shape, I'm not too in love with the body shape. It's just, it's a double cut, that's cool. But the PRS stuff always kind of reminded me more of like the Les Paul designs, a little bit, rounder, chunkier, clunkier, but just has the double cut instead of the single cut. And even though this one does have a bolt-on neck, it's really chunky, like down here. It's not like a good smooth kind of connection like I see on some of my other 24 fret guitars. Also, the neck profile is not quite as thin as I would like it on like my 24 fret shred guitars. And the frets, they're like medium frets. They're not the extra jumbos that I prefer on my stuff. Now I do want to point out something about this guitar, guys. $2,500, made in the USA, top brand, PRS, so you might expect like everything's gonna be perfect, right? Well, no, everything is not perfect. When I went over the frets with my little fret rocker, the frets are not perfectly even. I'm fine with that, right? Because that happens on most guitars. You kind of never know. Even on some cheap $200 guitars, I've had nearly perfectly level frets. And then on some others that are more expensive, they've been less level. And on this one, they're pretty close to level, but they aren't perfect. So even on an expensive USA-made guitar, you're not gonna get every single detail to be absolutely perfect every time. Anyway, so because I like other different features that maybe are not on this guitar, the slimmer neck, the bigger frets, the better, smoother, easier connection down here, different body shape, I've got guitars that are under $300 that I would rather play than this one, just because they're better for me. They're just more comfortable for me, and it's better for the kind of stuff I want to play and just the way that I'm used to playing. So it's not the price of the guitar, I think, that's going to determine like that's my best guitar or that's not my best guitar. I can't just line up all my guitars and go from the cheapest one and then go in order all the way up to the most expensive one, and that would be the order of preference of I like that one the least and I like that one the most. It's not going to happen. You can't do it according to price and cost. Like I just said, if I were to put my guitars in order, I've got guitars that are 300, under 300, that would be ahead of this one, and this one costs 2,500. Now I'd like to hear from you guys out there. Anybody else like me where you had a cheap guitar, then you got an expensive one, and you got it, and you played it, you liked it, and you're like, well, it's not bad, but man, my cheap little $200 job, I actually like that more than the expensive one I got. And you ended up playing the cheap one more than the expensive one. I'm sure I'm not the only guy that that's happened to. Okay guys, before I go, I did write and record a pretty cool tune on this guitar in one of the earlier videos, so I'm gonna tack that on right here at the end of the video so you can check it out if you haven't seen it already. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.